Every man I was with that day understood that they would most likely die. That did not stifle how they fought. After the parley, as the Chun stormed the walls, every Akluth fought to the death, as if the last couple of months, with the ridicule they endured, did not happen. The citizens of the city were evacuated to keep the center of the city. As their homes burned around them, many of them were in tears, not for the city, but in regret. They walked and talked, apologizing to their protectors for how they were treated. Once inside, they barricaded the door, and I, along with the remaining Akluth, stood atop the steps, waiting and hoping that by some miracle we'd all make it. For a long while, I heard the screams of my comrades, not of victory, but of death and pain. It seemed like an eternity had went on, a true testament to our defenses, keeping the Chun at bay. Then, all at once, silence. Nothing but the roaring flames consuming the city kept me and my fellow comrades company. My captain turned to us all and said, "Don't worry, we're going to be okay. First one to kill these bastards gets a free drink on me, eh?" We knew he was lying, but we still cheered anyway. It wouldn't have been right to spoil his last hurrah. Like clockwork, as soon as our cheers died, they appeared. These fuckers were huge, bigger than any human I'd ever seen. Luckily, we were prepared. We'd read reports by the Empire. We knew that they were large, so we were going to have to rely on those close quarters combat, or keeping them as far as possible. Seeing them up close really put into perspective how fucking gargantuan they were. The one leading the pack let out a roar, in charge, as a wave of them descended upon us. Like water, they crashed into our front lines, spearmen throwing their entire body weight into our shields. Our shield wall held, and we pushed them back, killing everyone that was thrown at us. But we never left the stairs. If we did that, we would have been surrounded, and it would have been over. Hours passed, and their tactics never changed. They just kept throwing themselves, almost knocking us on our asses. But we held, due to our training and discipline. Every time one of us grew tired, we'd send him into the back, as the men behind him replaced his spot. With this, we could continuously keep our strength and hold out for as long as possible. After way longer than what was reasonable, they must have figured out that continuously throwing themselves at the shield wall wouldn't work. So instead, they went around the city, picking up large amounts of rubble and throwing them at us. On top of trying to overpower us through sheer strength, the added amount of weight proved too much, and our steel shields began to dent and crack. One piece of rock hit the side of my helmet, and I was knocked unconscious. As I began to fade out, I could hear the sounds of my comrades. My friends got overwhelmed, and as my eyes closed, I heard the screams of the remaining humans get wiped out. Some say I'm lucky, having been the only one to make it out of that massacre alive. I disagree. I would have much rather died right there with the rest of the men than of old age. The only way I can make it up to them is to continue to tell their story. The final stand at Karains. May they never be forgotten.